Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 5 Minute English Podcast, where we help you practice real English through short, everyday conversations. I'm Jessica, and today I'm here with my lovely co host, Lisa.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us again. So, Jessica, what's today's topic?
Today, we're talking about something every student can relate to: how to organize your study time. Whether you're learning English, studying at school, or preparing for exams, having a good study plan really makes a difference.
That's so true. I remember when I was in high school, I used to wait until the very last minute before an exam. I'd stay up all night, drink too much coffee, and try to memorize everything in one go. It was exhausting, and it never really worked.
I know that feeling. I used to think I could just study hard for one night and be fine. But the truth is, it doesn't help you remember much. Now I realize that organizing your study time is just as important as studying itself.
Totally agree. So, how do you organize your study time these days? Do you follow a specific plan or routine?
I do, actually. I like to plan my study week every Sunday evening. I take about 15 minutes to look at everything I need to do for the week: assignments, readings, projects, and then I divide them into smaller tasks. For example, if I have to read a long article, I split it into 2 or 3 days instead of doing it all at once.
That's smart. I do something similar too. I keep a weekly planner, and every day I write down what subjects I'll study and for how long. I usually study in the evening because I'm more focused then. But I try not to study too late, otherwise, I get sleepy and forget what I've learned.
Yeah, studying when you're tired never helps. I usually study in the morning when my mind is fresh. I set a timer for 25 minutes. That's called the Pomodoro technique. And during that time, I focus completely. Then I take a short 5 minute break to stretch or get some water. After 4 sessions, I take a longer break, maybe 30 minutes, to rest my eyes or go for a short walk.
I've heard about that method. I think it's great for people who get distracted easily. For me, I prefer slightly longer sessions, about 45 minutes, and then I take a 10-minute break. During my break, I like to listen to music or scroll through my phone, but I make sure not to lose track of time.
That's a good point. Breaks are important, but they can easily become too long. I also try to keep my phone away when I study. I put it on silent mode or leave it in another room. Otherwise, I'll keep checking messages or social media.
Same here. I used to tell myself, oh, I'll just check one message. And then suddenly, 20 minutes are gone. Now, I use an app that blocks social media while I'm studying. It really helps me stay focused.
Nice. Another thing that helps me is setting clear goals for each study session. For example, instead of saying, I'll study English tonight, I say, I'll review 20 new words and write 5 sentences using them. When I have a specific goal, I can see my progress, and that makes me feel good.
Yes, I do that too. I think when you know exactly what you want to achieve, you become more motivated. I also like to reward myself when I finish my study plan. Maybe I'll watch one episode of my favorite show or have some chocolate. It's like giving myself a little pat on the back.
That's a great idea. Rewarding yourself helps keep studying positive. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that being consistent is better than studying for long hours just once. Even if you study for only 30 minutes a day, it's more effective than cramming everything in one night.
I couldn't agree more. Studying is like exercising. You get better if you do it regularly. Also, it's important to listen to your body. If you're really tired, maybe it's better to rest and start again later. Forcing yourself when you're exhausted doesn't help you learn faster.
So true. Everyone learns differently, and it's okay to try different methods until you find what works best for you. Some people like studying in the morning, others at night. The key is to have a plan and follow it as best as you can.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners, next time you sit down to study, take a few minutes to plan your time. Use a timer, write down small goals, take breaks, and remember to reward yourself. It really makes a difference.
Well said, Lisa. And that's all for today's episode of the 5-Minute English Podcast. We hope our tips help you stay organized and make your study sessions more effective. Don't forget to follow our podcast for more short English conversations and useful topics every week. See you next time.